We are back on Professional Wrestling. Not pros, we are bros. And today's bros are Timur and Jonathan, the real estate lawyers, the wrestling analysts. And on today's episode, as promised, we finished off with SummerSlam for the last couple of weeks. It's time to talk about Roman Reigns because we're starting to get a little exhausted by the bloodline and Roman, and the clock is ticking. We are going to guarantee you now that by the next WrestleMania, by the way, Timur, I am off to Philadelphia in
Oh,
2024. I'm going to go run. I'm going to wear this shirt. I'm going to wear the Rocky shirt on the Rocky steps with Thunderlips.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to happen. And I'm going to be watching at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is going to get dethroned finally. And he can go off to shoot Aquaman 2 or 3 or Fast and Furious 12, whatever he's got to do. But in the meantime, we're going to be debating today who is going to dethrone him. I got 4 names for you. Some may shock you, some may not.
Okay, let's hear them.
You all set?
Yeah.
Okay, so number one on the list, we've been talking about this one for weeks. It's the only person that I think is logical. The prediction is one way or another, Gunther is going to do it. We've thrown out some options here where we're saying that Gunther's got to drop the IC belt, whether it's going to be against someone like Chad Gable, you said. I said perhaps he's going to have a kayfabe injury and they're going to have a tournament for it. But I have yet another option for you because go back to the record books. We live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. How did Hulk Hogan drop his belt? It was at the Skydome at the time, facing none other than the Ultimate Warrior, and the Ultimate Warrior was the IC champ. Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan cleanly. And then my memory is hazy, but Warrior continued on to be the heavyweight champion, but they just gave away his Intercontinental belt. I think they had a tournament, perhaps. How about that? Belt for belt, and then you stay the heavyweight champion, just take off the IC belt and have a tournament that way. But one way or another, I think Gunther in WrestleMania in 2024 in Philadelphia is going to be your new Universal Champion.
Yeah, that's from a logical and safe bet per point. That's probably where things are headed. Now, this being WWE, just things change every week, depends on which side of the bed Vince McMahon wakes up on, right? Um, so that's probably like if Vince McMahon has something written down, and obviously they do, right? They plan for WrestleMania almost a year in advance. So they definitely have something written down already, and that's probably what it is at this point, right? And that makes sense, with the historic run, how strongly they booked him. Like we mentioned last week, there's possibly a Brock Lesnar feud in there between Gunther and Brock Lesnar, as a possible retirement match, maybe sometime around Royal Rumble, before we get to WrestleMania. So if all of those things happen, then legitimately, yes, Gunther makes the most sense, right? From a logic standpoint. And um, what I'm curious to see is how, because they're not going to have another lengthy run after Roman, right? Not for a while at least. Like
Every
at
six
best,
months or so, they're going to
yeah,
drop the belt, right? Six
yeah,
months, 9 months, give or take.
yeah,
Yes.
at best, like so. As strong as Gunther is like, do you only give him the belt for like 3 months, and then SummerSlam is losing again, Survivor Series next year is losing, right? So that's part of it. But in terms of believing it factor, there's only a few people on the list, and I'm sure we'll mention some of them. But yeah, Gunther is the safest bet, I think. Yeah.
Can I throw you a mystery entrant at number 2? Because
Okay.
this is bugging me now. I had 4, but
Okay.
now I really want to do 5.
Okay.
So I suggested in the previous episode that Solo is going to be the one to do it, who's
Mhm.
not even really on the list. And then we're going to have Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman.
Mhm.
Do you remember that Braun, before Braun and before everything else, to me, Braun is kind of like that Brock Lesnar character type, right? And
Mhm.
how Paul Heyman was going back and forth between Roman and with Brock, and he screwed Brock. Paul Heyman screwed Brock to go back to Roman, right? Would it be the ultimate if Paul Heyman screws Roman and he's the one who cost him the belt and he hands it over to Braun Breaker?
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
pretty shocking, wouldn't it?
That'd be shocking. Yeah. Yeah, but like I mean they still have to bring Braun up and build him up, I guess, right? Or like unless he wins the Royal Rumble as an entrant.
or you
Um
just
yeah,
or you just literally out of the blue. Like what you do is out of the blue, you repackage him as Braun Steiner, and at the
yeah.
very last second, Paul Heyman brings him out, obliterates Roman Reigns. Roman is so mad he declares for the match, and Paul Heyman helps Braun win the belt.
Yeah, if they're going for the shock factor, then like I said, then there's that, right? And that makes that just legitimizes Braun Breaker right away.
They got to do something with Paul Heyman because
Yeah,
Paul Heyman's going to start getting real stale. And the only way I can see really for Roman is if his wise man, his special counsel, is the one who turns on him ultimately because he really
yeah,
needs him. He's the only rock he has in his life, really.
yeah.
He's like, oh,
Exactly.
my tribal chief, like hanging on his every word. And he's the one who ends up screwing him. So that's one prediction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Could go.
that's there. That's the wild card option.
The safe option is going to be Cody Rhodes finishing the story. I'm really not digging this one, but if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet against it.
I mean, just yeah, like that's I don't think that was gonna happen anymore because they just if it had to happen, it was WrestleMania this year, right? So unless and again, like we said, if Brock Lesnar is not coming back, then right, then there's your pause. Like there's a further build up for Cody. He's the one who retired Brock and then got that rub, right? But that just happened too, right? You're not gonna be using that as a focal point to build Cody up 8 months from now when WrestleMania comes around, right? So I don't know what else Cody can do in between now and WrestleMania next year to still keep him fresh and on top. Like it's very hard to be that guy going for that title 8 months in a row, right? Like how do you keep yourself relevant, right? So I personally don't see Cody even feuding with Reigns anymore, unless I don't know. I don't. I right now I can't foresee how they're gonna bring Cody back into the picture with Reigns, right? Like it happened once already, so I don't know how they're gonna do that.
And I
I
and
think
I
he's
would love
yeah,
to hear the viewer comments on this. Like one of the things is when you hit the subscribe button, notification bell to hear about this episode, put in your comments who do
yeah.
you think Roman Reigns is going to be dethroned by. I would love to hear the opponent, how you think it's going to go down. Share your comments, wrestling fans, because we think we know it. You may have a different answer. Cody Rhodes, when you're saying it, all I can see is whoever is going to beat Roman is the one who Cody's going to beat.
Maybe.
Like Gunther beats Roman, I can see Cody beating Gunther in the future. Solo beats Roman, I could see Cody beating Solo in the future. So I think they're going to kind of keep him in the bay and bring a fresh opponent when the time will come. And that's why that next champion is going to be not that long of a champion because that's how they're going to get the belt to Cody, if I'm going to predict right.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, I think that's a good transition to. I'm pretty sure. Like again, we didn't talk about who our list beforehand, but I'm sure this next person's on it. LA Knight, right?
I
Um,
didn't have on the list. Oh, you
you
got LA
have it on
Knight.
the list. No, okay. So
LA
I
Knight
don't know.
against Roman Reigns.
I just hey that this is just that again. This guy is just organically getting over so well right now, right? And WWE is finally starting to get behind him as well, right? Like they're recognizing. I mean, you were at SummerSlam, so I'm sure you saw the buzz that this guy had, right?
Okay, you want to talk
Yeah.
about buzz with LA Knight at SummerSlam? I'm sitting in the crowd outside waiting to be let into the arena because I got tickets for the buffet dinner. Okay. All I'm hearing for an hour in the crowd is yeah, yeah, yeah. All people care about is LA Knight right now. That's it. Nothing else
Yeah,
in life.
yeah. So like this is like this doesn't happen like every year in wrestling, right? This happens like
Every 10
it,
years, if you're
every
lucky.
10 years. Like it happened a little bit with Sami Zayn like last year, a little bit, right? A little bit, right? But before like last time it was like Daniel Bryan, right? Like
I would
Daniel
say
Bryan
this
was
is
like
like this
yeah.
is like Stone Cold all over again. This
Well, yeah,
feels like
right,
they,
right.
they are loving
No,
him like the
exactly.
anti-hero Stone Cold. Because he
No,
looks like him, he wears the
yeah.
vest like him, he is him. But
He's like, well, yeah. So like, I guess I mean, like, he's that Rock and Stone Cold combination,
yeah, if The
right?
Rock and
Yeah,
Stone Cold had a baby, it'd be LA
yeah,
Knight.
yeah, yes, and that's not
Yeah.
a negative. That's not a negative at all, right? Like the last, like so that's going back 20 years, right? But I think like kind of in between, like since The Rock and Stone Cold got over organically, right? No one like what CM Punk maybe for like a flash in the pan had a moment, right? But Daniel Bryan was like the last guy that legitimately like when I say like exactly that yeah movement like when someone gets
Yes.
organically over, their catchphrases are still around long after they're gone, right? Like
Yeah,
that yeah yeah yes thing still happening in wrestling, right?
absolutely.
That Stone Cold what chant, which everyone hates, including himself, and Stone Cold himself says that's the worst thing that I brought to wrestling, right? But just that's just kind of a
What?
testament. That's exactly that's just a testament to how much this guy was over that's still happening like over 25 years later. So this yeah movement, I think it's legitimate, and WWE would have to do something majorly stupid to drop the ball on it, right? And
They
I think
will. Don't worry. They'll
no,
find a way to screw
so
this one up.
well, I think they are the way they're doing it is correct. They're not right. So I like he's not on Raw, so he's not going for that B championship belt, right? I see him going for probably getting. I think he's the one who's gonna eventually after Escobar gets the belt off Mysterio. I think he's gonna get that belt,
And he's gonna squash him in
right?
about 9 seconds. You're gonna watch. It's gonna
Yeah,
be one of those things. And
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
the
yeah,
North,
yeah.
the US title is
Mhm.
his
Yeah,
10,000%. I
yes.
hope they don't send him to NXT and face Dom and take the NXT North American Championship. No, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no, no, no,
no,
no,
no, no.
no,
That's not
no.
happening. This guy's way too old for them to send him back to NXT, right? They need that. They need that star power on the main show. So
Amen.
that him getting that US title is almost like that Rock getting that IC title, right? Kind of to build that character even further, right? There's that I just see that parallel with him and the Rock, right? With that second belt, and he's my dark horse to win the Royal Rumble, right? At this point, so that's the I don't see Gunther winning the Royal Rumble, right? Because I think him and Reigns that's a separate. He gets he gets to Roman Reigns without the Royal Rumble if it's gonna be Gunther, but LA Knight it's just I like he takes that US title all the way to the Rumble and then he may lose it or may not lose it, but I can see him winning the Royal Rumble, and then he's the one that right now he makes the sense from like the fan perspective, the momentum perspective, just that charisma perspective, right? Like he I can see a good 2 3 year run not with the belt like continuously, but I can see him as being one of the top guys for the next 2 3 years, right? And why not be the guy to like beat Reigns because they're not in terms of making the next star to carry the torch, Braun Breaker makes the most sense, right? But in terms of riding that momentum train and just legitimizing a guy and getting a good 2 3 years worth of superstar level
Maybe,
talent,
maybe
yeah.
12 at this point. Like this guy could be going for a while. This could be the next Stone Cold.
Well, exactly like Stone Cold got a late push as well, right? Like as a prime, like he was in the business for a while, and then
Stunning Steve
yeah,
Austin, the Hollywood
exactly,
Blondes. Go
yeah,
look it
yeah,
up,
yeah,
folks.
yeah,
Stone
yeah.
Cold came very late in time to the
Very late.
party.
And the difference between LA Knight and Stone Cold is that Stone Cold had that mileage, right? So and Stone Cold was a very good technical wrestler. Obviously, he became famous as a brawler with his character, more so because overnight kind of unintentionally broke his neck, right? So he had to change his style, which benefited him because if he stuck with his old style pre neck injury, we may not have had that badass Stone Cold character, right? So LA Knight, if you look has not actually had that much mileage. So yes, he's in his early 40s. But like again, we mentioned on many episodes in the past, we have people like Sting taking table bumps in 60s. So he can have that 10-year
He
run
is he's
still.
better shaped than most 20-year-olds. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can, but
yeah.
you know what? I think I see him definitely beating whoever beats Ray for the US championship. Yes. As far as the heavyweight universal championship situations go, I can see whoever beats Seth Rollins being Damian Priest. I can see LA Knight beating Damian Priest. That to me feels like a more realistic scenario. I don't see them matching up LA Knight versus Roman Reigns for whatever reason, but they should. If
Yeah.
you right now announce for Royal Rumble, for Payback, whatever, it's going to be LA Knight versus Roman Reigns, people are going to lose their absolute minds. When Roman comes out with the one, then you have LA Knight with the yeah, that crowd is going to love it. That's why they're not going to give it to them.
Well, yeah, and they're known for that. They don't they're known
Nope.
for that.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
work like that.
Yeah.
You're flipping through Maxim and you're hoping all the girls are going to come home with you. It doesn't work like that exactly. So, the next entrant is another mystery entrant. So, there are times in life when I am right, Timur, and there's times in life when I'm wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll admit this. A lot of my favorites, I was very right about Dom. Okay. As soon as Dom joined over into Judgment Day, I was riding that Dom bandwagon all the way to the championship. I felt that. Karrion Kross, I still see good things happening. They're still pushing him like crazy. The vignettes, it's going to happen. He's going to get his own faction. Life is good for Karrion Kross. Baron Corbin, I said he's got to dump all this stuff and go back to basics. What does he do? He comes and has all the vignettes on NXT, burns all this stuff. Fantastic. So things can go very, very right for me. I was wrong about LA Knight. Okay. Mason Rush, my protege wrestler out there in Hamilton Pro Wrestling. Check him out, Mason Rush 33 on Instagram. He was telling me from day one, LA Knight is going to be a star. I said, you're crazy. He's a jobber. The Mountain Dew Black Dark match with Bray Wyatt is going to destroy his career, and Uncle Howdy's going to destroy him. I was right in that it's going to destroy a career, but it did not destroy LA Knight for some reason, because people loved that match for whatever reason for LA Knight, but it almost destroyed Bray Wyatt's career. There's a lot of talk. My sources are telling me Bray Wyatt is not done yet, that there's been serious life-threatening conditions, and that is why he's been off TV, but he's making it through. We're going to throw out a surprise entrant. There's a guy who's learned to reinvent himself time and time again. It's been the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and maybe we bring back the Wyatt family, and Bray Wyatt has one more run in him, and if he does, and he does what he thinks he can do, and we know what he can do, maybe he's the one who goes after Roman Reigns.
Okay, well, he's the exact, and if you remember, that's the person Reigns beat to get the run
Well,
started.
in a triple man threat match,
Yeah,
right? He didn't
yeah,
actually
yeah,
beat Bray Wyatt, so
yeah,
Bray Wyatt
yeah,
technically did not lose the belt that way, but
yeah,
Bray Wyatt has some payback for him.
yeah, yeah. Oh well, I mean, like, let's see. Like, it just I don't know. I think people are just kind of done with Bray Wyatt. I mean, it's just that cool character entrance and just he's that
Why?
king.
Why are they done
Yeah,
with him, Timur? I don't
yeah.
understand.
I don't know. Just like I mean, like when he comes back, obviously people it's always exciting, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
the problem is he just can't keep that excitement going, right? Like
Hold
you
on,
lose
hold on,
him.
hold on, hold on. Let's rewind back the memory bank, shall we?
Yeah.
When he was the Fiend and going strong, is it his fault that Vince McMahon booked him to lose in Saudi in like 2 seconds to Goldberg?
No,
Before the
no, no.
Goldberg squash, I
Yeah.
think the Fiend was doing really, really well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like that, and again, that's not all on him. It's just the booking too, right? A lot of it's the
Yes.
booking,
The,
but
the
just
Family Fun
I don't know.
House was going well.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was when he
yeah.
came back and he had that new entrance song with SmackDown, and he had the lantern, and he talked slowly and wasn't really like going anywhere. We thought he was building up to something. He built up to one of the worst matches we've ever seen, that Mountain Dew match.
Yeah,
Uncle Howdy has not been seen since Bo Dallas, by the way.
yeah.
And now, if he comes back, we forget the whole thing and they reinvent him yet again. Maybe he's jacked up a little bit. I think they should still bring the Fiend back. I think we could do something with this. I think there is still, I think there's one more run. I think we need to give him one more chance.
Well, I mean, they should just because the product is again getting stale very fast, right? And yeah, he's a good merch seller, right? So then at the end of the day, these guys have to answer to stockholders, right? So yeah, that from that perspective, it makes sense. I don't see him beating Reigns again, but I can see having another run against Reigns.
I could see, I don't dispute you. I think that would make a killer Royal Rumble match. I think we have enough time between now and January. Let's build him up. I think he's going to come for the comeback. I think they're going to sell the fans that he is going to do this. And like they'd like to do to Bray Wyatt generally, they build him up. Remember his first run before The Fiend, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was building up, building up, building up. It was the Undertaker match, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he just falls short, like they do with Cody. And then they just take him right down to the bottom of the stairs. I think that's where it's going to go. But I think we are going to see a Roman Reigns Bray Wyatt match. I also agree with you. I don't see him doing it, but it'd be kind of cool. But also depends on how much they can build him up. If he can build a Wyatt family 2.0 or have something going, it could be fun. I'm just saying we need something here. We can only watch so much Viking Raiders, so much Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
We're waiting for Zack Ryder to come back. Uh, Nick Aldis finally came, but he's a producer. I don't get that. I would love to see Nick Aldis on camera. So we need some new energy, different energy. Sure, let's try this out.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't hurt.
The last on the list, and this one is kind of like very obvious, but we don't know if it would ever happen. I say an Uso, so a brother.
Mm.
Is it going to be Jimmy? Is it going to be Jey? Is it going to be Solo? Is The Rock going to come back? Is The Rock going to be part of the match? Please, Timur, tell me in some capacity if they're going to do some sort of family thing. Please tell me they'll bring back The Rock somehow because we really need this.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just like everyone's been waiting for it for 2 years now, right? Like it's just I don't see it happening. Obviously, part like that's like The Rock. I'm just that's the guy that brought me into wrestling, kind of right. He's like a number like if I can pick one wrestler to watch, it's him. So I'm always Team Rock, right? In terms, but so like, but just I don't see it happening to be honest. If he does come back, I don't see him coming back to wrestle. Probably gonna be in just like a speaking role. Just he may get involved physically, but I don't see him wrestling in the match. But that being said, I think yeah, we do need one epic match from The Rock at this point, right? Because it can't be that his last match was against Eric Rowan, right? I can see if The Rock does come back, I can see him, giving the rub to one of the other annoying family members. Um, but again, Jay had his shot, didn't happen. Jimmy, I don't really see having that shot, like as part of a fatal four way, maybe that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, right? Solo, maybe in the capacity that you mentioned in the past, like a transition champ, right? Because I don't see him as a long-term champion for the company from like the marketing perspective of things. But they do have to build him up a lot. Like even if it is as a transition champ, right? Um, like physically, yes, he is intimidating, and Paul Heyman can maybe turn on Reigns to give Solo that mouthpiece push, right? Um, I don't know, like in the moment, the fans will pop for that possibly, right? But they would have to take the belt off Solo within like a month because fans will get bored of him really fast, even with Paul Heyman, I think. Yeah.
I thought Rikishi was going to be at SummerSlam. I'm shocked that Rikishi, like, I bring back every single one that you can. Find the Samoans, whoever you can.
Yeah, Sika.
Come on, let's do this
Yeah.
thing. It'll be fun. And then, as they're talking, nobody's really taking it seriously. The arena darkens, lights start to come up, the music starts playing, and The Rock does his walk, and it's over. Please, and Phil, I'm telling you right now, Philadelphia WrestleMania. I'm gonna see The Rock one way or another. It's gonna happen.
Well, that would be full circle because look, if you remember, this was 2015, right? WrestleMania, sorry, Royal Rumble,
Mm-hmm,
2015, right?
mm-hmm,
In Philadelphia,
mm-hmm.
when fans didn't weren't too happy that Reign won, and they sent The Rock out there to see if that may help, but that didn't really help, right? So The Rock can come back and say, hey, I endorsed you there, because I believed in you when even the people didn't, right? And because they say, hey, what's The Rock's nickname? The People's Champ, right? So that's something just made for him to say, hey, I believed in you even when the people didn't, and the way you've been acting, not only did you made me look wrong, but you've disappointed the people, and if the people's champ is not down for that, like just that's just built for it. And yeah, we may get a match out of it. I don't know what we get out of it, but it's just this story has been calling for The Rock for about 2 years now, and it's gonna end at WrestleMania one way or the other. So just get The Rock involved when you can, because getting The Rock involved after Roman's loses the belt, it's not gonna have the same feel.
And the way you do this, The Rock's gonna have a movie coming out inevitably.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna advertise this movie every single second that you can of both days of WrestleMania. That's fine. I'm good with this, but
Yeah.
this is how we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be freaking awesome. But I agree with you. The cachet is only gonna work if The Rock is there when Roman still has the belt. If they take the belt
Yeah.
off Roman, I don't need to see The Rock. We'll take him to AEW at that point, as far as I'm concerned. Put him on the announce table, with Taz, and Excalibur and Tony Schiavone. That's fine. At that point, he can go and have a face off with Chris Jericho. They could do a jabroni face off, if
Yeah.
that's what they got to do. But other than that, we need The Rock right now to fix his Uso situation. And I think they're going to find a way. Dollars
Yeah.
talk. Dollars talk.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, the XFL is not doing that great. So we need as much publicity as we can. So maybe to help promote the XFL season, if it's coming back, WWE can help you out there, Rock.
Hey, not bad, not bad. Yeah.
So to summarize today's episode, Timur, we are in agreement that Roman is going to drop the belt by next WrestleMania. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if not, then he's keeping it forever. Yeah. He's going to the grave, and then if he doesn't drop it at next WrestleMania.
You know what? If he doesn't drop it by WrestleMania, keep it on him for the next 10 years. Fine.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
He only fights at 4 or 5 pay-per-views for the year.
Yeah.
He comes out every second or third SmackDown and does the one thing. You know what? Let him set the new record that nobody's ever going to break. By all means, let's do that. But if he's not doing that, like, he's got to drop it at WrestleMania. Like, this has to be it, because he's made his money. He wants to go do movies. He wants to go spend more time with his family. They already give him a very light schedule as it is. He has an MJF type schedule. With MJF, by the way, going to win the Ring of Honor tag team belts with Adam Cole, baby. That's another story for another day. But I think The Rock's got to drop it. And I think we are in agreement. If we were going to Vegas and put our money down, we're going to predict that it's going to be Gunther.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the bet where, like, you bet $5, you might win 50 cents.
I could picture them facing off against each other. They have similar builds. They can have the speak. They both can speak off against one another. It's kind of bad guy versus bad guy. It's gonna be fun. And who knows?
Yeah.
You may even make Reigns a face at that point. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, eventually he will be a face eventually, right? But he just has to drop.
I will just guarantee you one thing: you are never, ever going to see the Shield in WWE ever again. Jon Moxley. CM Punk is going to be returning to WWE before Jon Moxley. Mark my words. There's one guy that I'm going to guarantee you will never step foot ever in WWE again, unless Vince McMahon is in the ground. It's going to be Jon Moxley.
Jon Moxley may have just have lost all his brain cells by that point, based on the type of matches he's getting himself involved in.
Does he even have any blood left? Like,
yeah,
the man.
Exactly.
Man's spewing out all the blood. And again, how do you have a BBC Blackpool Combat Club when the guy from Blackpool has already left? But that's, again, it's another rant for another day. Thank you all for joining us on Professional Wrestling, the podcast. Leave your comments. Let us know your thoughts. Is Roman Reigns going to be dropping the belt anytime soon? When do you think he will? And to whom? And how is it going to go down? See you next time.